This course is presented to you free of charge by TTJ Tech Services of www.ttjtech.biz and by Stir It Up of www.stiritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with a U, not an I, so that's STURITUP.com. TTJ Tech Services and Stir It Up are pleased to offer this course to you to the glory of God and to the benefit of all those who listen. We actually have several things that we want to go over with you today. One of the things that we'd like to talk about is how to move and reorder items, and also how to move and reorder things even on the home screen, because there is a procedure for that with VoiceOver. If you are sighted, if you are not using VoiceOver, it's very easy. You can touch an item and literally drag that item, such as an app, to anywhere you want on a home screen page. But with VoiceOver, there are other ways to do it. So we're going to show you that. The other thing we're going to get into today is a little bit of a discussion on camera and photos. Not too extensive, but enough that we can get whet your appetite for this a little bit and show you how it works, because it's really amazing what has been done with photos and so forth in iOS, iPad OS, these various related operating systems and platforms. And then, of course, there are third-party apps that take that even further, but we're going to focus primarily on the built-in ones that everybody has access to right away. All right. So, of course, I've got an iPhone here, and we are going to start out by talking about reordering items. And we'll begin by looking at situations where we may want to move an item by dragging it in a list. So this might be, for example, one place we can see this is in the rotor settings. If you are a VoiceOver user, you can reorder items in the rotor so that they appear in the order that you like them. Another possibility is in the favorites section of the phone app, because there are places there where you can reorder your favorites. Also in your mail app, the list of mailboxes. We just learned about mail and how to create mailboxes and mail rules and all of that. And if I go into my mail app and let's say I go to
mailboxes, mailbox, edit button,
and then I go to edit.
Done. Mailboxes, selected, all inboxes, reorder all inboxes, selected, iCloud, 11 unread met, reorder iCloud, selected, Comcast, reorder Gmail, selected, VIP, reorder VIP, button, draggable. Double tap and hold, wait for the sound, then drag to rearrange.
Now, it's actually told us exactly how to reorder this thing. It's a reorder handle. And again, if you are not a VoiceOver user, you can just tap and hold on that and drag the handle to put wherever you want to put it. Well, it's very similar with VoiceOver, but because of the way the VoiceOver cursor acts on the screen, it's kind of a little bit different because it's moving by various degrees at a time. And so you've got to make sure to allow yourself enough screen real estate when you get started. Remember that with VoiceOver, we're kind of going back to basics here with a little tip that we had from, session 1 or 2, which is that once you touch an item, when VoiceOver is turned on, it brings focus to that item. It puts the VoiceOver cursor on that item, but then you can double tap anywhere on the screen to actually activate it, assuming that you don't move it by single tapping something else first or swiping or something of that nature. Well, that is true here too in these reorder handles. So you can move to the very top of the screen and then double tap and hold and start dragging to allow yourself more screen real estate, or the other way around. If you're going up, you might touch near the bottom of the screen, but try to allow yourself that knowledge ahead of time. So for example, here's the VIP folder, and let's see if I go to the right.
Selected, flagged, selected, unread, to CC, selected, attachment, thread muted threads, selected, today, 26 unread messages.
All right, I want to move today clear up above VIP, not all the way to the top where all inboxes are, but above VIP. I want to put it right up there. So I know there were 4 or 5, maybe 6 mailboxes between the today mailbox and the one I actually want to move it above, which is VIP. So I'm going to, now that my focus.
Reorder today, 26 unread messages.
Reorder today. I'm on the draggable handle.
Double tap and hold. Wait for the sound, then drag to rearrange.
I'm going to start clear down at the bottom of the screen so I know I've got plenty of screen real estate left when I'm dragging my finger up. So I'm going to double tap, hold, and start dragging up to see what happens.
Before thread notice, before unread, before VIP, after VIP.
And I just accidentally.
Reorder today, 26 unread messages before VIP.
There we go.
So reorder Gmail.
Now let's listen. So after all inboxes, I've got the inboxes specifically for iCloud, Comcast, and then Gmail.
Button selected today, 26 unread messages. Reorder today, selected VIP button.
And you can now see that I've got it exactly where I want it. So I'll just go over here and I'll hit done.
Mail done button selected. Selected. All inbox done button. Edit.
And there we go. So now you can see
mailboxes, heading, all inboxes, iCloud, Comcast, Gmail, today, VIP.
There it is. So that's how easy it is to move something around using the reorder handle. Now, some of you might say, well, isn't there an option in the rotor? Some of our more advanced users know this would say, isn't there an option in the rotor if you swipe up or down with one finger that says like move up, move down, so that I don't necessarily have to master that dragging gesture? And the answer to that is it depends. There are some apps that do support that in the rotor and some that do not. So I know that firsthand because the other day I suggested it to a student. You might have been here when I did because I think it was in this class, and we looked and it wasn't there. So I would not recommend relying on that. I'd recommend learning how to use these reorder handles. It's not hard, and that way you don't have to worry about whether it is or is not in the rotor, and you're not taken off guard if it's not. If it is, sure, that's an added bonus. If you want to do it that way, move it one item at a time, using the rotor up or down. But this way works very reliably. Praise God. You saw how easy that was. And it's just a matter of getting a feel for it. You got to kind of try it yourself. You hear those little beep, beep every time, and it tells you where it is before what item or after what item, depending on which way you're moving it. And you get a little haptic prompt from the phone, too, if you're doing it on the iPhone. But, you can get used to this, and it's very, very easy to move items and reorder items that way. Now, you can reorder items like that on the home screen as well, but they've given us a nice option for the home screen that I think is easier, and I'm going to show it to you now. In order to begin the process of moving items around on the home screen, you're going to want to long press the item. Now, there's another way you can use the rotor and get into edit mode also, but I like to teach the long press because it's consistent and it sort of helps you to see all the different options that are available. And then you can choose arrange. I think it says edit apps or rearrange apps or something like that. We'll see what it says here in a second. And what it's going to do is enter this like jiggle mode. Steve Jobs used to call it jiggle mode because all the apps are sort of wiggling or jiggling on the screen, meaning they can be moved. And then we're going to move an item to a different position on the home screen. And I'm also going to talk about folders. So this is our home screen now. We're back here.
Home. Wallet, settings, search, page 1 of 8.
And I happen to know that on page 3 or page 4,
search, page 4, Canary.
I have an item called Canary. It's my Canary camera app, and I want to move it up higher. I actually want to move it probably to the first or second position to be in line with my other security and home smart home apps. What had happened was after a specific issue with the beta, I had done a reset of all settings, and the Canary settings were different. And rather than try to get things working, I deleted and reinstalled the Canary app. And so it put it last position on the page, on that home screen page. And I just never have moved it back since then. I just never never even really thought about it, but I thought, oh, praise God, this is perfect for this class today. We're going to move that item. So the first thing we're going to do is get into that jiggle mode, which is really edit mode. And I will tell you that if you wait too long, it's going to time out. So that may happen today because I'm describing and explaining things. And so we're talking and it may time out and I'll have to go back into the edit mode, but that's okay. I just want to show you. So the first thing I'm going to do is long press on the Canary app.
Wendy's, Taco Bell, Canary, 23 new items. Remove app button. Remove share app button. Edit home screen.
Edit
button.
home screen.
Watch live at home button.
You have some shortcuts that each app may offer, like this one has watch live at home.
Bookmarks button.
Your bookmarks in your timeline. There.
Button. Dismiss context
and
menu.
we can dismiss
button.
the context menu. So the bookmarks, I guess, are bookmark events. Your timeline is the history of events.
Bookmarks.
It's different for every app, right? But here,
watch live. Edit home screen.
That one we're going to say edit home screen.
Started editing. Applebee's is editing.
Now every app says
Mr. Beast Burger is editing.
Is editing. So what we're going to do is we're going to find Canary. Now listen to this though.
Wendy's Taco Canary is editing.
Listen to
23 new items.
Listen to the whole hint.
Double tap and hold to perform move by hold and drag. Actions available.
So you still can move by hold and drag, but there are also actions available. Let's listen to those.
Stop editing apps. Finished editing. Edit mode.
Yeah, it timed out. That's what I thought. I'll get back into it here. Okay, listen to these now.
Canary. Stop editing apps. Delete. Drag Canary. Activate. Default.
We're going to say drag.
Drag Canary. Amazon.
Now, I don't have to hold my finger down. I just lift my finger and touch wherever I want. In this case,
Go via Nest. One link home. Reside. Your link is editing.
I want it up here at the top.
Double tap to add to drag.
You
Drops
can,
available.
You can
Swipe
add it to the drag
Swipe
session. If you want to drag more than one thing, you can double tap to add it to the drag. But I'm going to swipe up and down.
Stop editing apps. Add to drag session.
So you can add it.
Drop Canary before your link. Create new folder with Drop Canary before your link. Add Drop Canary.
Sometimes it'll say after too, but we're going to.
Drop complete.
Okay, we did it. Now at the top left, there's
done. But add go
the done button.
Canary, done. But
and praise God, you'll see
Canary 23 new Yolang Residio.
It's right up there at the top where I wanted. It's exactly where I wanted it to be. And praise the Lord. So now that's the very first item on the page. That's what I wanted. And so that's how easy that was. Now, my explanation was a bit rushed because I didn't want it to time out again. So let me just back up and go over what we did one more time. What we did was we initiated a drag. And again, we got into edit mode by doing a long press and then choosing edit apps or edit home screen. You don't have to get into it that way. If you look at the rotor, when you're just on the regular home screen, there is a
edit mode.
See, when you swipe up and down on an app, there is an option that says edit mode. But I wanted to show you the shortcut menus because every app has one when you long press on it. So I wanted to show you that one of the items you heard there was remove app. So if you want to delete an app, you choose that. And then you're still going to be prompted with two choices, remove or delete. Remove will just remove it from the home screen, but it's still available in the app library or with Siri and stuff like that. And then delete the app actually physically, it deletes it. So you can remove it, which lets it in the app library, but removes its icon from the home screen. You can delete it. And actually, you can also offload apps, which means that the documents and data are there, but the app itself is removed and you have to re-download it from iCloud. We're going to talk about that in another session when we talk about storage and, iPhone maintenance and all that good stuff. That's still coming up. Okay. So anyhow, I went into that jiggle mode, that edit mode, and then I swiped up or down on the app I wanted to move. In this case, it was Canary. And I found the option that said drag. It said drag Canary. So I double tapped on that. I did not hold because I don't have to. If you choose drag in the rotor like that, it automatically keeps it like it's held down for you. And then what you've got to do is lift your finger and go anywhere you want, another page even if you want to. And wherever you're going to drop the app, touch the app that's going to be next to where you want to drop it. In my case, it was the very first one on this particular page. It was called YoLink. And then I swiped up and down with one finger until I heard drop Canary. And there's sometimes there's a before and an after. In this case, I wanted it before YoLink. So I simply swiped up or down on YoLink until I heard drop canary before YoLink. Then I double tapped and it said drop complete. Another option I want to point out that's in that rotor drop menu is the one that said add to drag session. So if I want to move 3 or 4 apps at a time, I can do that because I simply find each one, swipe up or down and say add to drag session and double tap. And then it's dragging all those. If you are a sighted user who does not use VoiceOver, that's different for you. You're going to physically have your finger held down and you're going to be dragging an app. And while you do that, you can touch other apps to add them to the drag session. So if I want to move Canary and YoLink and let's say Residio, which is my thermostat app for Honeywell, I touch and hold on Canary. While I'm holding on it, I take another finger and I touch Residio and I touch, and then I let it go. And then I touch YoLink and I let it go. Now I'm dragging all 3 so that when I move the finger that's already held down, now it's moving 3 apps and not 1. But that's different than our VoiceOver users. So that it's, for VoiceOver, it's a little bit easier to do it the way we showed you first with the rotor. Then when you find where you want to drop it, now you're going to be dropping all 3 or all 4 or however many you have in the, held down in the drag session. I also want to talk about the fact that you can create folders of items on your home screen. Now, it is important to know that and I talked about this at the beginning, but you may not have known this, your app library is not going to automatically match your folders. You can make it so that your folders match your app library, but it's not the other way. The app library is not based on your folders. It is based on the App Store category of the app. So just be aware of that, okay? One doesn't alter the other. A folder is a collection of apps. You can have an app folder on the home screen that has any combination of apps that you want. And some people really make use of folders. I don't. I think I have 2 folders on my iPhone. I have the utilities folder that actually came with the iPhone. And I have a folder called Kylie's Games because my daughter, even though she has her own iPhone, sometimes likes to use mine. And there are some games that she has on there, and I have them in a folder called Kylie's Games. So on each device, I might have 1 folder here or there, but I'm not a big folder user. There are some people, my son, as a matter of fact, I don't even think my son has a dock on his devices. I think that he has everything in folders. I mean, you can put folders on the dock too, but I don't even think he has that. I think unless he's changed it since the last time I looked at his phone, he just has a whole bunch of folders, and that's how things are organized. It is personal preference. It is absolutely personal preference. There's no right or wrong. For me, the reason I don't use a ton of folders is because I don't really think it will save me that much time. In fact, I think it'll take longer because if I have a lot of apps in a folder, so then I have to open that folder and still go through multiple pages maybe to find what I want. Whereas what I like to do is kind of keep my apps organized on the home screen by various criteria. Like I let the page 1 be exactly what Apple made it to be, and really page 2, same thing. And maybe there's a couple apps that I've added that are on page 2, but it sort of goes progressively in my mind. And then like I'll organize like maybe a group of recipe apps together, a group of TV apps together, a group of productivity apps, things of that nature. It is also important to know, and we're going to do a session called What's on My iPhone. In case you don't know, that's a really popular trend for tech people to do on YouTube. If anybody ever has any tech YouTubers they follow, a lot of them will do this, like what's on my iPhone, what's on my iPad, what's on my Apple TV. And we do it too in these classes because it's a lot of fun. And when we do what's on my iPhone, I'll revisit this, but I just want you to know so you understand the way that I do it. And there are options, of course. It's not telling you have to do it this way. But for me, I have a different set of apps on my iPhone than I do on my iPads. Now, there are a lot of crossover. Don't get me wrong. All the Apple apps are on all of my devices where they can be. And certainly, a lot of the, my Bible app and my recipe app and TV show apps, they're on all 3 devices. But for example, my iPhone has things like DoorDash And actually, I do have DoorDash on my iPads also, but there are more apps like that on my phone, Uber and Uber Eats and things of that nature, where I know I'm primarily going to be using them on my iPhone, not my iPads. And similarly, my iPads have more of the productivity apps like Backpack Studio and Fairlight, for example, which I don't have on the iPhone because I don't do the work on there. You certainly can. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't. And as a matter of fact, actually, my two iPads are not even the same as each other because one is an iPad Pro and it has the real high-end Pro apps, Logic Pro, Final Cut Pro. I've got some of the Adobe apps and Affinity apps, which some of those aren't even necessarily things I use with VoiceOver, but I might ask my family to help me to design something or whatever. And so, they help with that. And that's, my iPad Pro has that. My 10th generation iPad has some of that, but not as much. So, I don't even have the two iPads exactly the same as each other. And that's on purpose. That's how I like it. That's how I want it. Now, there are other people who would say, I want everything exactly the same on each device. I don't care. That's just what I want because that's what I'm used to. So that's personal preference. And just like that, these folders, whether you use them or not, and then how you organize them are personal preference. But I want to show you how to create folders so that at least you're aware. So for sighted non-voiceover users, it's actually really simple. You start creating a folder by putting two like apps on top of each other. In other words, you predetermine, I want to make a games folder right now. So you find Minecraft and Candy Crush Saga, and you drag one and drag it on top of the other. So maybe I took Candy Crush and I put it on top of Minecraft. And what it's going to do is it's going to create a folder. It's automatically going to title that folder. You can change the title if you want, but in this case, I'm sure it's probably going to call it games. It's probably going to get it right. And then you can simply drag more apps to that folder. So now that I have a games folder, I can drag, what's another game that, we might have? We have Quizoid. We might drag that now on top of that games folder and it'll put it in there for us. Okay. That's how our sighted users are going to do it. For VoiceOver, again, it's in the rotor. So,
2:58 p.m.
I think I actually have an app that I can put into the folder because my daughter recently downloaded Kick the Buddy, which is a fun app that she sometimes plays. And I got to find out where I have her games folder. I don't even know. Is it on page 4? I got 8 pages on my
Netflix Messenger. Kick the Buddy.
on my iPhone home screen here. All right, praise God. Where's my Kylie games folder though? It's gonna take me just a minute because I don't remember. I want to say it's on page 5. But I don't know. We're going to see here. It won't take me too long. I mean, it's... I don't even remember because I think I've added stuff around it, which is what... Okay, it's not on page 5. Is it on 6? Oh, yeah, there's a game, Thief Puzzler, too. That must be hers. So we're going to put that... Once I find... Here it is. It's on... Okay, so it's on page... It's on page 6. And it's not even really in the beginning of the page. It's sort of a couple apps through, but that's all right. So I have this app here. Thief Puzzle.
Double tap to open.
And I'm going to move that into the folder that we already have. So what I'll do is this time I will use the rotor instead of the long press, and we'll just go right into edit mode.
Edit mode. Started editing.
Now I'll tap again on Thief Puzzle.
Hershey Park, Disney, Thief Puzzle, drag Thief Puzzle.
You can swipe up or down.
Activate, stop edit, delete, drag Thief Puzzle, DXCOM G6.
Now you notice if I touch a random app on here, like Food Network, you can swipe up or down.
Food Network, stop editing, add to drag session, drop Thief Puzzle before Food Network, create new folder with Food Network and Thief Puzzle.
So that's how you create a new folder, but I already have a folder that I want. It's Kylie's Games.
Cupcakes. Kylie's Games folder is editing.
Swipe up or down.
Stop editing, drop Thief Puzzle before add Thief Puzzle to Kylie's Games folder.
And that's what we...
Add Thief Puzzle to Kylie's Games folder. Drop complete.
That's what we do. So now if I open that folder,
Opening Kylie's Games folder. Folder name. Kylie's Games.
You
Text field.
You can double tap to edit the name. And
Sasquatch. Thief Puzzle.
There it is.
3 to 4.
There it is.
Thief Puzzle. Sasquatch. Revive.
All right. Now, if I want to close that folder and keep editing, I Z scrub. Otherwise, I can just do the go home gesture, or I can hit done. I actually can't hit done while I'm in the folder, though.
Closing
Okay.
Kylie's Games folder.
Now there's a
Kylie's
done.
lifestyle. Kylie's cupcakes.
Let's see. Apparently, oh yeah, I have a lifestyle folder too. But up at the top.
Add widget done button.
Also, you notice.
Add widget button.
Up at the top there.
Add widget button.
And then
done.
The done button. So the add widget button allows you to add widgets to your home screen page while you're in edit mode. That's how you do that as well. There's an add widget button at the top. It allows you to pick from all of these different widgets that you have. And basically, you can find any widget that's in the list. You can add it. When you try to add it, there are 3 different pages. So you'll use your 3-finger left and right swipe to go through the pages. Each page represents a different size of widget. So, for example, if I use a weather widget, maybe the small size only gives me the temperature and the current conditions. And then maybe the medium one gives me the forecast for today and tomorrow. And maybe the large one gives me a 5-day forecast. I don't really know. I'm just saying hypothetically. I don't remember. But I do use widgets. And then you can move widgets around just like you move apps around, okay? And the other thing you can do is you can put widgets on top of each other to create a stack of widgets. And the stack of widgets lets you swipe through the stack to get to different widgets. And you can even create what's called a smart stack, which you can still put whatever you want in the smart stack. But if you pick the smart stack first as the widget, you can then add or remove things that are in it, and it will automatically rotate through those. So like, for example, if you have the weather widget, the battery widget, and the calendar widget in a smart stack, it's going to know what to display based on what's going on. So if in an hour we're supposed to get snow or rain, it will display the weather widget. If my battery is getting low, it'll display the battery widget. If I have an upcoming event, it'll display the calendar widget. And what's really nice is to put a non-time sensitive widget in there too, like maybe photos or music or something, so that when you don't have something coming up right away, then it'll just go to that thing so you can look at your photos, or you can, easily jump to music from where you are. So those are really nice. And we talked about widgets early on. Now you know how to work with them. When you're working with widgets and you're using your widgets, never forget to long press on widgets, because they do have options in the long press menu for widgets that you'll find nowhere else. And also when you, like if you want to change the location of the weather widget, that's how you have to do it, is to long press. Also, I'll show you this when you have a stack, because I do.
Music, all sessions.
So
play button.
There's the play button.
All
but
sessions.
Listen to the rotor.
Next widget.
See, I can quickly go
previous widget
to the next widget.
Siri suggestions widget. 6 of 6.
Now I'm on Siri suggestions.
Next.
And we can go back to the previous widget. And so Siri suggestions is another widget where it kind of learns your behaviors and gives you suggestions based upon the time of day, based upon what it is that you're doing. And what I actually want to do is, let's see.
We can go back to the previous widget and so.
Oh, okay. That's.
I didn't get that.
I see what happened there. I was
Siri
talking to Siri.
Next widget.
We're gonna go back.
Previous widget. Music widget.
Okay, and I'm back to the music widget. And it's really nice because they have these interactive widgets that, like you saw here.
Music play button.
The play button's right there, so I can immediately start playing this music. And of course, I won't let it play because we don't want to get a copyright issue. But there it is; it did start to play for me. So it works very, very well. And I am a big fan of widgets, and it is my personal feeling. Although I know that there may just be some people who don't like them. That's fine; it's your choice. But I think oftentimes, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I think oftentimes people who don't like them simply don't know how to use them, and don't, that may not always be the case. Some people maybe genuinely don't want them to, and that's fine. But I think in a lot of cases, it's just, well, I've never been trained in this. So to me, it's just getting in the way and it's not really helping me until you realize it can give you useful information. Like I really like a weather widget and a calendar widget on my home screen because I can immediately see the calendar, what's upcoming. I can immediately see what the weather's like without having to even open the app. It's just right there. And this smart stack that I have on this iPhone is on my iPhone is a lot of fun too because like it has the music in there. I think it said there were 6 different widgets in that stack, and I don't even remember what they all are. But it just it shows up at different times, and really your iPad, your iPhone, all of these have those widgets, and then your Apple Watch even kind of does too. Well, not kind of, it does, and your Mac. Now the iPhone also has a full page of nothing but widgets. It's called the Today view, and it's before page 1. So if you ever want to play with that without immediately putting widgets on your home screen, you can do that as well. But I like the widgets to be on the home screen right alongside the other apps. Of course, the other thing to keep in mind when you are adding widgets to the home screen is that they will potentially change how many pages you have, and they may end up moving apps to other pages because it's just what happens when you add something to home screen. That's what it's got to do to make room for it. You know that you can customize your home screen, and I'm not going to get into a tremendous amount of detail about this, but you can long press an empty area of your lock screen as well. And you can customize your lock screen. You can have multiple lock screens that you switch between. You can have widgets on the lock screen. You can have your own custom photos, custom colors on the lock screen. You can choose the font. What does my lock screen have?
3:07 p.m.
It has the date and time, of course.
iPhone, Bill Withers, Lean on Me.
All right now it's showing the song I started to play.
Favorite previous play. Next AirPlay audio. Calendar. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Tuesdays with TTJ. Do not disturb. Show notifications. Flashlight. Camera.
And that's all it's showing right now. I think that normally it shows the weather too, but I have that play screen on there. I can't even remember, but I think the weather's on there. But it's right now the playback controls are taking up some space and what have you. I guess that may be the thing. But basically, you can put different things on your lock screen, and you can even link a lock screen with a focus. Now, a focus is something we haven't talked a lot about here. And again, just briefly, I think we'll do a session on this, maybe even a lab session, because really the whole focus mode thing could be an entire day session unto itself because there's so much you can do with it. But basically, a focus allows you to predetermine a set of apps that will and will not notify you, people who are able to get through to you versus those who are not. And you can even choose what apps you see on the home screen. You can have different home screens for different focuses and different lock screens for different focuses. So it's not only a way to control what notifications you get, but it's also a way to allow you to be able to, as its name suggests, focus on whatever it is that you're doing. Now, I tend to have I don't think I ever really set up a personal focus. They have one called personal, and I suppose people might use that for when they're at dinner or what have you. And I started to set up a work focus, and really I could do that, and maybe I should, because maybe a different set of contacts, but I've just always done it with the do not disturb focus, and I have that kind of customized the way that I want it so that my family can get through to me, but really nobody else. And I use that during these sessions. I use it, when we're at church and so on. And I have it set to automatically come on Sunday mornings when we go to church based upon the time of day. I also could set it up based on a location. So I could say when we get to church to turn it on, and when we leave church, turn it off. But the thing is, when we're done with church, we almost always go out to lunch and just nice time of, family fellowship and everything. So rather than do it based on a location, I did it based on a time from like 10 a.m. when church starts till about 2 or something in the afternoon. So we're done with lunch and everything, and then it turns off. The one for these sessions, it turns on based upon the fact that I open the Zoom app. And so when I open Zoom or a few other apps, it automatically turns Do Not Disturb on all of my devices. It's synced with iCloud. Now, you do have to be careful when you use the app-based trigger, because that app actually has to be in the foreground. So if I were to leave the Zoom app on my iPad right now and go into a different app, Do Not Disturb is going to turn off across all of my devices. So that's just one thing to be aware of when you're using the app-based trigger. And as I mentioned, when you have these focus modes on, like Do Not Disturb, you can determine who's able to get through to you. So my family can get through to me no matter what. My wife, my kids, they can call me right now and I would get the call or a message from them as well. I also have the what Apple considers to be time sensitive notifications allowed for the Do Not Disturb focus. Now you can actually go drill down to individual apps and say whether they're allowed to deliver time sensitive notifications. So the time sensitive notifications are like the weather app, the calendar app, and there's a few others that qualify as time sensitive. I also have critical notifications allowed. So that would be like my home app with security system kinds of things, or whatever. So those are allowed to come through no matter what. And then there are others that are not. So I'm not getting notifications from Facebook while we're in these sessions. I'm not getting notifications even from mail or from other messages other than the family that I've allowed in. So that's why I always say to the instructors, guys, make sure you do something. Well, really, it'd be pretty hard, to be honest with you, for anybody to get a hold of me from this session right now, because I have speech off also on the iPad. So I always let the instructors know that, I'm not ignoring you. Please don't ever feel that I'm ignoring you, because I just don't know, because I have speech off. I have Do Not Disturb on. So you could text me, you could raise your hand. I wouldn't know it either way. And that's just because I want to focus on teaching. And that's why I make sure then, when I'm done, I check my messages and I check the raised hands, and, we deliberately unmute the instructors and all that. So that's how that works. But if I leave the Zoom app now, I'll get notifications. So, as I said, I think we'll probably do a separate session on focus modes and really go through the settings and look through them and try to talk about them in more depth and more detail, because there's so much you can do with it. And it's really, really powerful. And even notifications themselves, you can have scheduled summaries, you can have quiet delivery, you can have badged apps and just all sorts of things with even just notifications themselves. So I think focus modes and notifications would be a good lab or a good Monday session, maybe even. And we'll do that before the class is over. All right. Praise God. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a primer on it, especially for our more advanced users, because we were talking about creating custom lock screens and customizing your home screen and stuff like that. All right, we are going to switch gears. And so I'm just going to give you about a minute or two if you want to grab a drink or a snack or something. And we're going to switch gears and talk a little about photos. Then we'll go to the other instructors and, take your questions and all that good stuff. But I do want to talk about photos a little. Give you a minute here to collect your thoughts. It's amazing what Apple has done with photos, with the camera. And I will say going in that I am not a camera expert. It is typically not me in the family who takes the pictures. I give the phone to my wife or kids, and they take the pictures. And so my level of spatial awareness, I don't do it very often. But I will say the camera gives you some nice pointers. if we were to go into the camera app, you can hear, and again, I'm not going to go into great detail in teaching this. You can play with it yourself. It's all the common gestures, but I just want you to hear that it's going to tell me what's in focus.
0 people.
It made a little noise indicating I'm level. If I tilt it, see, that's when I'm level. Now, if there were a person there,
tilt left, level.
Okay, so you can play with that.
Video.
Lots you can do with the camera, different camera modes, video, photo. You can have pano, you can have square, and you can do bursts. You can do all sorts of stuff. There's so much with the camera. I want to look at photos because they're so cool. You get these built-in descriptions, which you have to turn them on, and you also have to, if you run into a problem, because in iOS 17, there seems to be an issue when you update to another version. Sometimes you lose your image description. You have to disable all the voiceover recognition and then restart your phone and re-enable them. I sent out a newsletter about that. Praise God, mine's already done and it's working, so I can let you hear.
Date range, live photo, date, November 19th, time, 12:44 p.m. More content available. A child posing for a photo and leaning against a wooden railing in front of a window.
I mean, that's really detailed. And if you swipe up or down,
explore image,
you can open the image explorer, and then you can swipe through each of those things. It will tell you the people. You can assign people's names to these photos by going into the albums and going into the people album. You'd have to have some sighted assistance probably. And then, your sighted family member or friend will say to you, well, that's mom in that photo. So now you go in there and you name her mom. So every photo that mom appears in now, you'll know that it's mom, right? And that's dad in that photo. So then so you go into the people album to do that. But here we can let's do another one here.
More button. Yesterday, live photo, date, November 17th, time, 7:41 a.m. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate. More content available. A person wearing a suit and posing for a photo.
And if there's text, it'll read the text to you. But I want to open this up.
Live library, back button.
And I want to go to the right.
Friday, 7:41 a.m. Edit button. Actions button. Live photo, date, November 17th, time, 7:41 a.m. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate. More content available. A person wearing a suit and posing for a photo.
Now, if I long press this, or is it the next one?
Live photo.
There it is. It's that.
Dismiss context menu.
Now you can't hear it because, okay, now that gives me the choices to loop. So these are live photos and they have a little bit of video in them, but there wasn't anything really. It was the first one that you actually needed to long press. And I don't know if you could hear it. There is noise. Let me try it again, see if you can hear it.
Live photo.
Ready? Well.
Live copy. Toolbar. Add sticker. Share. Menu
so we can
button.
even add a sticker to these. But I just want to do that where we.
Live photo. Date. November.
Where we do this.
Preview.
I don't think you can hear it very well. It's actually
2000 review.
There's a little noise because it was the video, and if I had one where somebody was talking, you might be able to hear it better. And basically, I'm trying to find another one maybe, but I don't know if I can find one that has a lot of noise in it. That one was sort of just like wind noise in the background. Maybe we were in a car or something, but it was a little hard to hear on Zoom. Let's see. I don't know.
More. Select. Multiply. Review. Button. 2,404.
They want me to.
Shared library suggestion.
They're suggesting some things that they think should be in the shared library, which allows me to share with my family. Let's see. Okay, they want me to move a bunch of
Oh, how many do they want me to move? 360 videos.
Oh boy, I'm not gonna do that now. I'll do that later because I don't want to move the wrong things. Let's go back here where we were. It tells me
Sync with iCloud just now.
Synced with iCloud just now. Praise God. All right, let's see if I can find some other photos that maybe have a little more noise in the live photo. If not, it's okay. I just thought it'd be cool. That's the one with the person wearing the suit. Okay, what else?
Photo date November 17th. Tapate live photo date November 16th. Time 4:36 p.m. More content available. A child wearing headphones and sitting at a table with a computer. 30. Miss Jen Endler Bone. Library.
I don't think this one probably has any noise either, or not enough that you might be able to hear it. Let's just
Live photo.
just try it just for fun.
November 16th.
We'll just try it.
4:36
But
p.m.
you long press and you'll get
Swipe up or down
whatever
to
there
select a
is.
custom
I
action
just don't know.
and double tap to activate. More content available.
Okay.
A child wearing headphones and sitting at a table with a computer. 30.
And there's some text in that photo. Okay, here we go. Okay, maybe you heard that one. All right, praise God. There was a little talking in there. Maybe you heard that. So anyway, that's another way to sort of determine what's in here. Those are only the live photos that do that. Now, another thing we have here is we have all of our editing tools and
Toolbar. Photo chooser. Photo for that share button.
we can share the photo.
Favorite. Switch button. Off.
We can favorite the photo.
Info button.
We can get more info about the photo.
Delete button.
Of course, we can delete it.
Button.
But up here at the top, we have actions.
Thursday. Edit button.
And we have edit.
Actions button.
So under actions,
copy, duplicate, hide, slideshow, button, save as video, add to album, adjust date and time, adjust location, feature this person less, button, dismiss context menu, button.
And then if we go to edit,
dynamic island, live, Thursday, edit, button. Cancel, button, done, dimmed, undo, dimmed, redo, markup, button.
We're going to look at markup in a moment, but let's see what else.
Plugins, button, adjust, heading, live photo, image, enhancements, auto, off, adjustable.
All kinds of enhancements you can make, just to show you some of them.
Light, brilliance, highlights, shadows, contrast.
And there's a bunch more. Okay, we're going to just go back to off. Okay.
Intensity slider.
Intensity.
Live photo. But selected. Adjust. But filters. Crop and filter. Crop and rotate.
You can crop and rotate. You can have different filters on these. So there's so much editing you can do even just in the Photos app. And of course, your plugins, if you have third-party apps like Pixelmator and Affinity Photo. But these are built-in features. I didn't even show you the filters. There's tons of filters you can add. But I want to show you the markup because
plugins, markup, button.
This is the new way that they want you to add descriptions for VoiceOver if you decide to do that. So you go into markup.
Markup alert. Markup turns off live photo.
Oh.
Live photo will be turned off and edits will apply to the still photo only. Cancel. Button.
Well, let's not use that one. Let's go ahead and cancel out of that and find another one that's not a live photo. I don't really want to mess with the ones that maybe already have live stuff, and there's some that don't. So we're gonna find some that don't. Okay, here's one that just says photo.
Time 7:23 p.m. More content available. A person sitting at a table and posing for a photo in front of a group of people, maybe Matthew. A person sitting at a table and posing for a photo in front of a group of people, maybe Matthew.
It knows that that's me in that photo. So let's now show you markup in this one.
November, edit, but actions, edit, but cancel, done, undo, redo, dip, markup, button, cancel, pencil, color, ruler, inactive, pencil, color, dark cyan, blue 20.
So you have these different options, but look at the bottom here.
Crayon, fountain pen, watercolor.
So you can do watercolor, fountain pen, different colors. But what I want to show you is at the bottom, you have an add button.
Selected, color picker, add button, add. Cancel button.
Now listen to what you can add.
Undo. Redo. Markup. Heading. Done. Button. Direct.
Okay.
Done.
Hold
Selected.
on. Hold on a second.
Ruler.
Accidentally got
add
All right, here we go.
Add shape.
All right, so
add signature.
add
text.
Text.
Add signature. Add shape. Selected. Pen. Must. Add text. Description.
Description is the one that you want. Oh, and you can even add a sticker here.
Add sticker. Direct touch area.
Okay, so description is what you want to do if you want to give a voiceover label to this. Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to add a custom voiceover label for the photo. My new puppy, or my kids playing in the snow, whatever description you want. That is how you do it now. You still can do it the old way for those who know the old way with the voiceover label thing, but there were always some potential quirks with that because it really wasn't designed for that. It's designed to label unlabeled buttons and other elements on the screen. So this is more designed for the photo itself, which is that you can provide a description, and it's designed to be for voiceover. So you go to markup, you say add, and you choose description. It'll give you a text field, an edit field, where you can just type a description in there, and then voiceover will read that. Now, you can also do a caption, but a caption is visible to sighted folks as well. So if that's what you want, you can definitely do a caption. Now, the way you do the caption is by choosing info at the bottom.
Info.
And now,
delete, share, unnamed person button. Matthew, unnamed person button.
That's another way you can name a person in your photo. You see, there's an unnamed person there. We can name them.
Matthew button.
There's me.
Added by Jessica to the shared library.
And it's my wife that took this photo and added it to the shared library.
Location. Add a location.
You can add the location if it's not there.
Shutter speed, 1 aperture, exposure, focal length.
I'm going back to the left.
File size, dimensions, resolution, lens, file format, camera description, app, file name, IMG selected, iCloud status uploaded, adjust, but creation, add a caption, text field. And that's where you can add a caption. So if in fact you would prefer a caption that's visible, that somebody can see, you can do it that way as well. Now I don't think it necessarily automatically reads the captions until you open the photo, or again, if you use the image explorer. But I think my son is coming here, or my daughter. One of them's. It's me. It's you. How you doing? Missed you. Good. Who's in this photo besides me? Can you tell, or do I have to get out of the info here? No, I can see. Who's the other? It says unnamed person. Who is that?
Me and you.
That's
It says you.
It says me, but it doesn't say you.
It also says me. It shows my little picture there.
Why doesn't it say your
And
name?
It says question mark.
Oh, it doesn't. So if I go,
Jessica, unnamed person.
If I choose that,
that shows like my previous pictures.
Okay, name this person.
All photos. Make T photo. Feature of this person. Dismiss.
So I have to say name this person.
This person. Button. Cancel.
Yeah.
Text field is editing. Add name. Insertion point at start.
So I can just add you, right?
Use the rotor to access.
Let me do it.
I think
it's
just
A-R-F-O-N.
You think
doing
what?
It throughout the years and stuff.
Because you look different than you used to, probably. Okay, that's cool. How was your day? Good. What? I'll find out. All right. So now, basically, I've added my son's name.
Photos. Carson Wade Albrecht. SPIDER.
And that's him.
Photos for baby Carson. Baby Carson. Next.
I have him in there as baby Carson, and then Carson Wade as he got older. Carson
Wade. Photo. Image. This person is now named Carson. This person. Done. Button.
Now.
Add a caption. Creation date. Add a file name. Resolution dimension. File sub ISO focal length. ISO 16. Focal length 14. Exposure aperture. Shutters. Location. Added. Matthew. Button. Carson. Button. Toolbar.
See, so now it tells us both people who are in the photo, and let's finally just look at. Well, actually, no. Let me go ahead and go back. So I want to
add a caption, create, adjust,
okay.
Toolbar, favored, info, button, delete, share, info, info,
turn off info,
library,
go back,
November, photo, date, November 10th, time.
So you see how that works. Now,
More content available. A person sitting at a table and posing for a photo in front of a group of people, maybe Matthew.
Okay. And there's all these different photos that I have live. I wanted to try to find a photo with either a food item or our dog in it, because I wanted to show you how it'll give you lookup information about those things, but I don't know how easily. No, that's not going to have a dog or a food item. I don't know how easily I'll find that right now. If I don't, it's okay.
Sitting on chairs in front of a store. No. Live photo.
I'll just look real quick. But if not, maybe I'll plan that for another time.
More content available.
But I'll tell you what it does.
For a photo in front of a Christmas tree. EVRET.
What happens is if it sees something it can recognize in a photo, when you go to the info button like we did, it will give you a lookup. Now, this one says a person holding a dog on a leash. So maybe if it can recognize the dog, let's try that.
Library, back button, toolbar, info, delete, and save, share, photo chooser, live photo, save, info, but info.
All right, let's look.
Info, favorite, delete, added location, shutter speed, aperture, exposure, focal length, ISO, file size, dimensions, resolution, lens description, live file format, camera description, file name, IMG selected, iCloud status, adjust. Creation date from add a caption, creation date from heading not added by toolbar, share, but favorite, info, delete.
No, it doesn't seem.
Creation date Friday.
Doesn't seem like it's going to have it in that one. It must not be able to tell. If it can tell what it is in the photo, like what kind of dog it is, it will actually give you a button to look up. Like when it sees our dog, it usually says, look up Yorkshire Terriers. And it gives you then a description of what those are. It also works for food items. Like if it sees, I had a picture of a pie one time that I sent to somebody because I knew they liked a certain kind of, it was strawberry rhubarb pie, actually. And so it knew the pie was there. And it allowed me to actually look up recipes for pie based upon the fact that it saw a pie in the recipe. And the other thing it does that with is symbols. If it can see like laundry symbols on clothing tags, or if it sees car dashboard symbols, it will tell you what they are if you can get them in the photo enough. I'm trying one more time here because this one said it had a fork. So I'm wondering if you can see the picture of the food. Because why?
Info, favored, share, map with nearby
photos. Okay, this one's got the location already in it. But does it have the food? And I don't see. I don't see that. Yeah, there's a map. That's cool. You have a map. That's not what I wanted, though. I wanted the food. All right, well, we may not be able to show you that if I can't find one real quick, but nevertheless, it does work. I've definitely seen it work, and maybe I'll take a look. And, you know, it's very easy to share. When you want to share your photos, you choose the share button, and then you have the option. So, for example,
more content available. A person holding a dog on a leash. Library, back button.
Down here we say share.
Toolbar, photo, live tool, share button. One photo selected. Options button.
You hear the options button? It's really cool when you choose the options button because it lets you actually determine whether you want to share the location of the photo and things of that nature, which you may not want to share if you're posting it like on Facebook or something. We can also create a very, very simple, and there are tons of ways to share these photos, by the way. When you're under here, you can share them with, you know, messages, mail. You can share them with iCloud. You can add them to a shared album. You can add them to just a regular album. You can use them as wallpaper, make them a watch face, assign them to a contact, of course, print them out. So we're going to get out of this because I don't really want to share that. And if we select multiple photos, we can even do a slideshow. Like if we go into the
live photo, date tab bar, album for select date range, live photo.
Let's see if I can find that real quick here for you. We'll go to all photos.
Tab, live screenshot, tab.
And let's see if I can find
date range, all more.
The select button.
Vertical select.
Select.
Dimmed.
Let's just select a couple of photos here. We won't do a bunch. I'll select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'll say
selected toolbar. 7 photos selected. Delete. More. Share button.
Share, and I'll say slideshow.
Set mail. No, free chirp mess book drop zoom L.
Gotta get down here to slideshow.
Add to copy up export on create what print save to print process in print search with Google edit action.
Okay, I didn't even see slideshow because I must have missed it. Hold on, where's my slideshow action?
Copy photo more LG zoom drive books message
give me a second here, guys.
Notes airdrop Suzanne.
Okay, these are all sharing suggestions.
Save to file.
But I've got 7 photos selected. I think it's under more, not share. That's why. So here it is. Yeah, it's under more. It's not under share.
Slideshow.
We'll pick slideshow.
Slideshow.
Now, it's already got music assigned. I can choose the controls, double tap to show them.
Toolbar. Options. Slideshow options. Done.
And we can change this.
Origami.
Theme is origami right now.
Music. Origami.
The music is origami. But if I want to change this, let's change the whole theme.
Theme. Selected.
You can pick your own custom music too, by the way.
Dissolve.
Let's do
magazine. Push.
Magazine.
Theme. Magazine. Music
is magazine.
Repeat. Switch.
We're going to not repeat.
Slideshow.
We're going to
50%.
Slow the speed.
40%. Slideshow. Theme. Done. Slideshow.
Now we'll hit done.
Button.
And we will.
Live photo. Image. A person wearing a virtual reality headset and sitting at a table.
If I tap.
Live photo. Image. A child wearing a suit and posing for a photo.
It's changing.
Live photo. Image. A person sitting in a car and sticking their tongue out.
Okay. And there you go. And that was our slideshow. So you can even AirPlay this to an available device like an Apple TV. Of course, if you have an Apple TV, you have direct access to your photos anyway. Now we'll just hit done and then we'll hit cancel. And I'm going to end it there, other than the fact that I do want to get the other instructors and get your questions. And I'm still going to be looking for a photo that I can demonstrate that lookup while we do that. So let me start out by unmuting the other instructors here. It looks like Cliff is not with us right now, but trainer Sarah is. Okay, so I've got Sarah unmuted, and Sarah, how you doing?
Hello.
Hi.
Am I the only instructor besides you?
As of this moment, you are. Yep.
I feel so honored.
Yeah,
yeah. I thought, one of my responses to what you were teaching today is that you showed people how you hunt for things. Like if like you don't know everything automatically and you're looking for stuff, whether it's,
Right,
you know,
right.
the game app on page number 6, or, you know, the photo, you know, identifying the photo, et cetera, et cetera. But you basically
Did we lose Sarah? Hold on a second, guys. It sounds like we lost her. Hang on. Wait, Sarah, is that you now? No.
Hello?
Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally lost you there for a minute.
Oh, I was talking on and on.
I have no idea what happened. But I heard you say about how it showed people how to hunt for things, like you mentioned the game and so forth.
Yeah. And that's kind of what you've been teaching is, you know, this is how to find things. This is how to scout it out yourself. And, you know, when you, in the very beginning of this course, you know, the tabs and the, you know, like what apps are like each other, what apps
Right,
can you
right.
search the same way,
Right.
activate the same way, et cetera, et cetera. And the long press, which works in so many different arenas. And
Right.
so that's kind of what I saw as one of the high points of this
And
class.
I really think that is the key, isn't it? Because none of us does know everything, you know, and we all are going to run into some app that we've never used before, or that we haven't used in a long time, or, you know, some new thing. And as much time as we could spend teaching a step-by-step process, this ability to figure things out, I think, is absolutely invaluable.
Yeah, and it also, you know, it's like if we're at all nervous about showing that we don't know everything, this is the way we search for things. This is the way we
Right.
figure it out. And
Exactly.
you know, even you have to do that.
Exactly.
Everybody has to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you covered a lot today.
Yeah, actually, we did cover a lot. I just, you know, I was thinking too. I said I wanted to show something with lookup. I wonder if I search for something, like if I go to the search tab, praise God, if I type food in here or dog.
Photo.
Here's the photo
of cookies in the shape of cartoon characters on a gray surface.
Now that's cookies. Let's see if that has. Wait, here's a
illustrate photo. Photo. A chocolate chip cookie with a red and white label on a white surface.
That one's very clear. It's a chocolate chip cookie. Let's see if that has lookup.
Photo toolbar. Photo choose share favored detected item info.
Yep, detected item info. Here we go. Let's listen.
Detected item info. Delete. Creation date not adjust. Select file name camera file.
Okay, I gotta go past the info here. Hold on. Here we go. 1 second.
Shutters. Location. Show and all photo. Date toolbar. Share. Button. Favorite. Detected item info. Button. Delete. Detected item. Detected item info. Toolbar. Photo chooser. Photo share.
It
favorite.
Said
detected item info. Button.
Detected item info. But that one isn't.
Delete detected item and detected item photo date.
What do I on
photo toolbar photo.
Okay, there's the
photo,
controls.
Toolbar share favored detected item info.
That's supposed to bring up, and normally does bring up some sort of.
Delete detected item info. I
might try it on another one.
Detected item info photo. Actions.
Wait,
button,
well,
edit,
no.
September search.
Yeah,
search,
I would have thought it would have been
food search results.
easier than that. Let's try another one here.
Live photo. A group of cookies in the shape of
I don't know if this one will have it because
toolbar. Photo share favorite info delete.
Right, that one doesn't appear. I don't know. I might have to figure this from.
Favorite info.
I was just really hoping I'd find one that had.
Delete and favorite share map with near show and all photos. Adjust locate shutter speed aperture.
Yeah, that one doesn't seem. It says they're in a shape of cartoon characters, but that doesn't mean that they're it's detectable what the food is. I know I have some that do because I've done it before. And this one says detected item info, but it's just not, it's not bringing anything up when I tap on it. And that means maybe it doesn't really know what it's detecting. So let's not use that one because that was the chocolate chip cookies. An illustration of a group of yellow. No, we don't want.
See all November home.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let me do a different search. Let's do dog, because that one, if I can find something with a brown dog lying on it. Okay, this one should have something in it here. I hope.
Detected item info.
Is it gonna bring it up?
Delete. Creation date. Adjust. Select file name. Camera. File. Left. Result. Dimension. Files. ISO. Focal. Expose. Aperture. Shutters. Location.
Well, it should. As I said, I might have to try this for next time, but it should bring up what the item is, like and tell you about that item, which is what's so cool. Now maybe, okay, I've got it. Look up. This one says look up Yorkshire Terrier, so that worked.
Sheet grabber.
Okay, so now we
results heading closed. Siri knowledge heading Yorkshire Terrier dog breed Wikipedia button Australian Silky Terrier dog breed similar web images image.
So you get similar images, and it tells you it's a Yorkshire, and then I can get information here. Siri knowledge. Yorkshire Terrier dog breed from Wikipedia. I can tap on that to read it. So that did work. So I'm not sure why the other one wasn't, if I just wasn't doing it right. I'm tempted to go back and try it again now that I got the Yorkshire to work, which was probably our Yorkie. But anyway, you saw it work now. So when you have recognizable pets or food items or dashboard signs or laundry tags, at least, and there may be other things too, but those definitely do it. You can look them up and get information about them, or be taken to other places where you can get information. I'm going to try the one with the cookies one more time, I guess, here. But while we do, go ahead and put your hands up if you have any questions. Remember, more button or reactions button, and then raise hand. Or then if you're on a Mac, Option Y. If you're on a PC, Alt Y. If you're on a phone, call in *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute, and wait till we send you the request to actually unmute. Now this one has the detected item info again. Maybe it is that I have to long press. And that, yep, because then it came up and it said look up food.
Information card about food.
What's it find? I think that was the secret, guys. You had to long press it.
Results heading closed. Recipes heading the best vegan chocolate chip cookies. Conflicted vegan, gluten-free, whole wheat chocolate chip cookies. Chances are you've seen paleo pumpkin scones with glaze, gluten-free.
So they've got these different recipes: chocolate raisin biscuits, chocolate chip cookies, pumpkin cookie. So that works. Praise God. So I think the missing link was I had to long press where it says detected item info, even though it was a button. It appears I had to long press it to get it to actually do anything. So it wasn't the photo, it was me. But now we know. So that was really cool, guys. So we got to show you everything I wanted to show you there. After some detective work, we got to do it.
I tried to add the weather widget to my home screen, and it said it added it, but I can't find it. So where did it put it?
It's usually in the top right or left corner of your first page when you do it that way. Or actually, Matt, does it go to your first empty page or the space on? Because I don't use widgets, so I can't really say.
Yeah, it seems to go to whatever page you're on when you hit the add widget button, but it may, I mean, it should go theoretically to the top of that page, like you said, Cliff, but if there's something, I mean, you know, the easiest way you can do it is just swipe through your apps until you find it, and God bless you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'd like to thank you again for joining
Voiceover In&Out 2023. Didn't get your question answered? Need additional training? Send us an email at support@ttjtech.biz or support@stiritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with the U. That's STURITUP.com. I'm Trainer Cliff. Thanks for joining us, and see you next time. God bless.